everybody. Heading into this week being a bye week, just obviously the biggest thing on our mind is moving forward. Lots. I'm sure you're going to have some questions as far as where you think we're at and all that, but we're 2-2 is where we're at. That's simply the best way I can put it. Don't want any pats on the back for keeping it relatively close in the two games that we lost. The two games that we won, we're proud of the fact that we won the games. I'm proud of the guys because their effort's been good for 4 straight games. Played with energy. I think our excitement level for the game right now is pretty high. My challenge to the guys on Sunday night, once we got back in here and got back to work, was that everybody's saying the right stuff right now. It's just more about what you do. We got to continue to do the right things when it comes to preparation, when it comes to strength and conditioning. A lot of them are down there right now. When it comes to being able to attack practice the appropriate way to continue to get better. We got a lot of football left ahead of us. We got 8 games, 8 conference games at that. We expect each and every one of them to be challenging. We're like I've said many times, excited about being in the Big 12. With that becomes competition. So each and every one of the games that we play, we expect them to be tough, and we expect that we're going to have to put our best foot forward to be able to compete. So that was my challenge to the guys, and I think that they will respond the way that we want to. I do think that our team is in a relatively good place. They know they've competed each and every time that they've been out there, and I think they really want to win. So I think they'll continue to do the right things and moving forward. So with that, we'll take some questions.
I know yesterday on the teleconference you said you're going to meet with Travis Bell. Have you met with him?
Yeah, that's a great question. Travis is retired. He simply put is retired, so we wish him well.
His decision?
Yes.
Is the attitude different for this team? I mean, you mentioned that obviously scheme-wise, skill-wise, night and day from last year. You've said a number of times. Attitude-wise, do you feel that this team is different from where you guys were last year?
Yes, part of that is because of maturity. When you play a lot of young guys, the maturity level isn't where it needs to be. I feel like our guys are in a much better place. I think the maturity goes back to what I said. I mean, they're saying the right things. They got to continue to do the right things as well. But with older guys, it's important to them. I think it's important for our guys to continue to practice hard, prep hard to be able to put ourselves in position to win. I think that's important to our guys. So I do like what the attitude is. I like how they're attacking everything that we're asking them to do. Nobody was happy about coming up a little bit short in a couple games against what I consider the best 2 teams in the country. With that said, we can't feel sorry for ourselves or pout. We got to move forward.
Dana, a lot has been made about the special teams the last couple of games, couple breakdowns. What are your thoughts, special teams-wise, moving forward?
They're unfortunately the 2 glaring mistakes they affected the game, affected the potential outcome of the game. A game is not won or lost on one play. With that said, the momentum was lost on that one play heading into halftime. We overcome it? I mean, we came out in the third quarter. We didn't play great, but we had there's one point towards the end of the third quarter where defense came up with a big turnover and offense had a chance to go score to take the lead, and offense gave it right back to them. One play doesn't make the difference in a game. It did, however, suck the momentum out of everybody at that point in time, which is unfortunate. We expect to win special teams every time that we play. Our specialists are playing at a pretty high level. Josh Lambert is playing at a high level. Nick O'Toole pinned 3 punts inside their 20, playing at a high level. We came back on punt team and did well. Against Maryland, we had a breakdown against the punt team. I don't know if anybody knows this or not, but our opponents have good players and they coach special teams as hard as we do. So it's called competition, I think our special teams have been playing well, other than the fact that there's a very glaring mistake on kickoff team that we didn't cover, and a mistake on punt team 2 weeks ago that we didn't cover. And that affected the outcome of the game, which is disappointing.
What do you like about your quarterback so far, and in what areas would you like to see?
Clint's he's playing at a high level. He probably had his worst game this past week. When he's looking at two of the best pass rushers in college football, it's probably going to affect him. We had to kind of change our game plan offensively based on the fact that they have two of the best pass rushers in college football. And the first time he dropped back, he got sacked. That affects you a little bit. So Clint didn't play bad by no means. He played well, but his sense of urgency, he rushed everything because he knew that clock was ticking. Offensively, I called plays differently than I have in the first 3 games because of those two guys that are pretty good. So he's managing the game very well. His leadership skills are extremely good. Guys are following him. His rapport with the receivers are great. Our communication is fantastic. He's continuing to get better. He's harder on himself than I am on him, or Coach Dawson is on him. So he's going to continue to improve through reps. I think he's looking forward to that.
Assess the play of Nicky Banks. Did you feel as though you needed to knock some rust off?
No, I thought Icky played well. I think he played well. He's got a lot of game experience. So he went out there and competed. I didn't view that as an issue of anything that had going on defense. So he'll continue to get better as well.
You have an update on Worley?
He remains indefinitely suspended while we continue to gather facts that are out there. So we will continue to evaluate that.
Dan, this might be a simple question, but they're maybe a complex answer. I don't know, but you talked a lot about playing in Oklahoma and Alabama. There's certainly benefit to that, but for you and players, what is that benefit now going forward? Now that you have that experience, and I don't know, maybe it's very simple. You won't see two teams quite that good.
Well, I don't know if that's going to be the case or not, to be honest. I've joked around saying we're the 3rd best team in the country, and they're the top 2 teams in the country. There's certainly an argument for that. There is going to be a lot of good teams ahead of us. So we're going to have to continue. We have to play like that all the time. I commend our guys for the effort and the attitude and the tenacity that they've been practicing with, preparing to play in those games. They're going to have to do it 8 more times if we want to put ourselves in position to win. So I've been talking to them a lot about that's just who we are. We play with that kind of effort. We practice with that kind of energy. We play with that kind of energy. And if we can continue to do that, having played a couple of the better teams in the country, then that should prepare us for the rest of the challenges that are ahead of us.
You've been complimentary of that aspect of your team for a while, and then you prepared for Alabama for probably the entire summer, I'm guessing, too. Was that a habit that was set in cement a long time ago that's just carried over now?
We didn't talk about that. I mean, they walked by the schedule every day, so they knew who was going to be first. But we didn't talk a whole lot about that. What we talk about is putting ourselves in position to be able to win the next game that we play. So, they know what's expected of them. They know what the routine's going to be, and they know what kind of, effort then they're going to have to practice with, and what kind of energy that they're going to have to practice with. That's got to be the standard. And if it's not going to be the standard, then we're not going to be successful. So that's kind of what I've been hammering home to them.
What's the biggest improvement you want to see in the next 2 weeks?
Wow. I mean, just an improvement on all 3 sides of the ball is important. I mean, that can't not be the case in any of the games that are ahead of us. So, got to continue to do the right things. It's in all aspects of what they're doing. I mean, it's just improvement. We'll have an opportunity this afternoon to go out for 2.5 hours and practice. We got to keep working on our timing. We got to keep working on getting better with the techniques that we're asking them to play with. We've got a long ways to go in everything that we're doing if we want to continue to improve. The teams that we're going to be playing are going to continue to improve, so we need to do the same thing. I can't pinpoint. It'd take forever to sit here and pinpoint every kid, every phase of the ball, what we need to improve on. So it's got to keep improving.
The way Kevin White performed against Zach Sanchez, pretty dominant performance.
Yeah, he did well. I wish we could have got him the ball a little bit more. What they do defensively is pretty good. There's a lot of one-on-one coverage on the outside, but that doesn't mean we had the opportunities to be able to get it to him as much as we wanted to. So he continues to play well. And the rapport that him and Clint have right now is really good. That we need to get out there today and tomorrow and Thursday to be able to keep working on that. Because if you ignore that, then the timing disappears, and now you're not on the same page. That can go away pretty quick. So he needs to continue to maintain that relationship with him and with Mario, with the Keel, with Jordan. But then he better start developing that rapport with Vernon Davis and Shelton Gibson and KJ Myers, because those guys are going to be in the game as well.
Talk about Kevin's progress, his development, and I mean, do you see him as one of the more pleasant surprises of the first month of the season?
Well, we thought he had some potential. We saw some flashes of it last year, some flashes of it in spring and in camp. What I've been happy with is the consistency that he's played with. He's shown flashes of being a great player in the past, but not consistently. Right now, we're seeing flashes of it with Mario. We're seeing flashes of it with Russell Shell. The only one that's doing it consistently at the skill spots is Clinton Covin. But the rest of those guys, they're showing flashes. Jordan's shown flashes of doing some things. Wendell's shown flashes of some things, but the consistency is there with Clint and with Covin.
What exactly do you need to do to get Mario and Russell both on a consistent basis performing at that high level?
Get out there and practice, and keep working hard. It doesn't happen overnight. It's been a long process with Kevin. He's been here a year and a half. It's been a lot of meeting time and practice time to be able to get him where he's at, and then he's capable of it as well. There's some guys that aren't capable of it. We will continue to work with some of these other guys to see when. I don't know when the light's going to go on for some of these guys. Sometimes it never does. There's plenty of guys on our team that came in here highly recruited. Everybody had high hopes for that. The light never came on. So you got to show up every day in the right frame of mind. You got to practice hard and expect good things to happen.
Dan, you said preseason that probably your hardest coaching job is going to be after the Alabama game, regardless of the outcome. Now that you've got a third of the season in and you've played top 5 opponents and obviously you've gotten some confidence out of their play in those games and so forth, do you view this as a critical time right here to keep focus or going into Kansas with a bye week?
Yeah. I mean, there's everything that we do is critical. I mean, we can't. You can't ever relax on anything. So, we made that loud and clear with the guys that this is not an off week. That we got to get back to work, and they're going to be showing up here anytime soon. And we need to get about 3 hours of good workout in there this afternoon, and continue to move forward. You never have things figured out. You can never relax. There's plenty of, and that's human nature. I mean, right now there's a bunch of guys on the injury report or whatever it is that want to relax for a few days. But if you do that, then you're not going to improve. So, every game's critical. Every game's a big game. this is a big week, and we need to get ourselves in a great place here starting Sunday, heading into next week, which is a big game.
Considering the losses in the defensive backfield, anything in particular you're looking to see from particular guys in the next 2 weeks to feel a little more comfortable with the cornerbacks, especially going to Kansas?
Yeah, I mean this is this is a big week for everybody. We're going to work with our developmental guys that are scout team guys and non-players right now. We'll work with them. We'll work with guys that are second team like Jalen Myers and Jeremy Tyler. Jeremy Tyler, I don't remember what happened with Drayvon, but he had JT had to go in second series, and he had to perform at a high level, which he didn't, so he needs to continue to improve. Jalen Myers was counted on to go in there and make some plays. He did okay, but he's only been on campus for a month, so he needs to continue to improve. So there's a lot of guys that are like second team guys that need this week to improve, and then there's the starters who they need to improve as well. We're 2-2.
How do you evaluate the run game so far? Not great, not bad.
It's not great. It's not bad. We've called more run plays than anybody in the conference right now. We're averaging 3-4 yards a carry, 2.9, 3.9, somewhere in there, depending on how you calculate it. We've played two really good run defenses. On top of them being very good run defenses, their schemes put more people in the box than we can block. So they can do that because they have great cover people. There's going to be teams that we play that are not going to be able to do that because of because of talent, because of cover skills or whatever it is. When we are able to get guys out into the open, we need guys to get out in the open and go. So I'm okay with where we're at with it. It's based on scheme that the opponents are going to throw at us. We may need to make bigger plays in the run game. We don't have very many explosive plays in the run game right now, partially because of who we play.
Any extra motivation from last year's Kansas game? I mean, can that help carry this team through a bye week and keep that focus?
Oh, boy, I'd hope so. A miserable performance. It was a miserable performance. I've been watching it for 2 straight days. It makes me want to puke. So, I would hope so. I would hope so. We did not play very well going there, and I would expect us to hammer that point home to our guys by watching the film for the next week and a half and be ready to go.
Dana, I know recruiting's always big all year, but during these 5 weeks, how crucial is it to get in touch with these guys and talk to them?
Well, it's right now I think recruiting is going well. We had a huge recruiting weekend last weekend. We had a lot of guys on campus. The atmosphere was great, so it did us well. The fall evaluation, you got to get out and be seen. You can't go talk to them. You can't make contact with them. You can't sit in the stands and talk with the parents. You can go be seen. You can go watch. You can go show your support by being there to watch them play. You can go to the high schools and walk up and down the hallways and be seen. We will do that. We will do that a little bit Thursday, some Friday, a lot Friday, a little bit Saturday. It's important, but then again, there's a more important period, which is contact period. That doesn't exist until December.
Will you guys go in all different directions?
Yeah, I think you guys can probably figure out by now we recruit a lot of states, so we'll be everywhere.
Dana, you touched on this the other day when I asked about the offense. Your offense is performing much better than it was last year, but at least for the first 2 or 3 games you had red zone issues. This last game you had probably more issues with not being able to take advantage of momentum shifts and put a chokehold on them and things like that. What is? I mean, how?
You want us to
how
dominate?
do you resolve
how do we
that?
dominate?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good question. if we want to be a top 5 team, then we must dominate on not just offense, but on all 3 sides of the ball. You know, we're playing winning football on all 3 sides of the ball inconsistently. And again, if we want to be a top 5 team, then we need to be able to dominate on all 3 sides of the ball consistently. We've made a bunch of improvements offensively. Your question was more about offense. We've made a lot of improvements on offense. You know, were we able to, in order for us to be able to win that game against a top 5 opponent, then we needed to be able to score a couple more touchdowns, which we didn't. You know, why? I don't know. It's a whole bunch of things. Not making guys miss, not finishing blocks, not calling the right plays. I mean, there's a number of things.
Not to harp on your special teams point, but on that kickoff return touchdown, you generally did a good job against them. Except that one, but there are, I mean, Molinari's been good on touchbacks, and I don't think you guys have been beaten. Is there something to guys just getting conditioned to touchbacks and maybe on that play not going down as well as they needed to, just getting stuck?
It's impossible to pinpoint that, but I've seen that happen. I've seen guys kick it in the end zone, kick it in the end zone, kick it in the end zone. And Joe does a good job of making the guys run to the end zone. You know, just to harp on the point of coaching them. Don't relax. You don't know if it's going to go into the end zone. You have to cover the appropriate way. You have to get off blocks. You have to have your safety guys in the appropriate place. We've coached it hard. We've executed it well. That one specific play, he brought it out of the end zone. We had guys stuck on blocks. We had guys out of their lanes, and we had the safety guys out of position. Did we tell them to do that prior to the play? No. Why did they do it? I don't know. Okay, thank you all.